Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to welcome with all participants who joined us today for this session, which we will discuss the regulatory updates from both EU and Egypt sides. Allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Shayma Salah, Associate Director, Regulatory Affairs, Africa Cluster for Alcon. Today, I will be here as a moderator for this session. Appreciate all attendees to allow me to share first the rules of the session before starting. So the session will be starting with sharing the presentation from speaker side. Then we will move to Q&A and panel discussion. You can indeed post the questions in the chat box. I will address them accordingly by the end of the session. Now, I am very pleased to welcome with our standing speakers and to introduce the first speaker in our session today, Munir Al-Azouzi, the CEO and founder of Easy Medical Device. Munir is a medical device expert specialized in quality and regulatory affairs. He has worked for multiple medical device companies, where he acquired 15 years of experience. Within his experience, he had to develop the quality and the regulatory affairs departments, obtain CE marking for medical device and register products all over the world, and deal with audits as management representative. He has now created Easy Medical Device to support the medical device companies that need help to place compliant products in the market. He also educates the medical device community through his blog, podcast, and YouTube channel. He always say that by educating everyone, we prevent issues to happen. His motto, would I give this product to a member of my family, this help him to take decisions. Munir today will share with us the regulatory updates from global perspective and EU perspective. Happy to have you on board, Munir. The floor for you.
Thank you, Shaima, and thanks for the introduction. As you said, I'm really happy to be here and to share with you the information. Today, what I wanted to do is to really give you a presentation of the regulatory updates, if I can say, for people that are trying to now reach the EU market. The objective is not to go through a lot of details, if I can say, in terms of regulation requirements or this, but I highlighted the major ones to help you. So let's kick off there, where we'll start to talk about first, something that is really important, which is the timeline. So I will show you some kind of the different situations that are happening there. Notified body, which is a big topic that everybody is talking about. Also the situation because of some changes inside the European Union, which is about Brexit and Swixit. And there we have also an update in terms of the scope. And then the legacy devices. So we'll see also about what happens for products that were already on the market before and now have to be again on the market in Europe. So allow me first to make, if I can say, to give you a quote, if I can say, that is saying that if you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans. This is exactly what's happening now with the EU MDR. They had a great plan, but to be honest, this always changed and it was a bit chaotic at certain point. And I will just illustrate that with some few elements about it. So first, the dates. So we had the timelines that were existing. So we have timeline version 1, which says that mainly EU MDR will kick off by 26th of May 2020, and EU IVDR, which is in vitro diagnostic regulation, will kick off by the 26th of May 2022. And they said, oh, after this date will be chaos, everything will be a problem if you are not following that, etc. Then, and if you have an MDD product that is already valid during that time, it can still be placed on the market if you have a valid certificate for it. Then, mainly, we waited for those dates and things, and then we had the COVID situation, so they had to have a timeline number 2, which is now about to update due to the COVID, and they moved everything of 1 year. They said, okay, it's not anymore 26th of May 2020, it's 26th of May 2021, and we keep the same date for IVDR, 26th of May 2022. And the same, if you have a valid certificate, you can continue to place those devices on the market. But after those dates, if you are not following, it will be the chaos. So then we had a big issue with in vitro diagnostic regulation. Everybody was complaining because they had not a lot of time, if I can say, to fulfill the requirements. There was also issue because notified bodies are not available at all for that. We'll see that just after. So at a certain point, the EU Commission started and said, okay, let's change our plan again and let's make something that is better. So for in vitro diagnostic now, if you are a class A device, you have to follow the new in vitro diagnostic regulation by the 26th of May 2022. If you are a class D device under the new regulation, then you have to follow the EU IVDR by the 26th of May 2025. Class C, 26th of May 2026, Class B, 26th of May 2027, and Class A sterile also 26th of May 2027. So you see here that this is always changing, and even there we say after that, after those dates, it would be the chaos. And lastly, so we have now an alert because of the last date, which is the 26th of May 2024 for MDR. Why? Because after this date, you cannot anymore have an MDD certificate existing. So it means after this date, all the certificates should be MDR. So it means this is mainly the date where everybody should have already followed the requirements, have contacted their notified bodies, made the audit, received the certificate, and then can show it to anybody to say, I am compliant to the EU MDR. So now everybody is saying after this date, it will be the chaos. So I will explain you why. Mainly because of the capacity of notified bodies. And this is mainly the big issue that we had since the beginning of this transition to the MDR and IVDR. So if you are now looking at notified bodies, if you look at the MDR, we had around 80 notified bodies before. Now it's around 50 notified bodies under MDD. And now with MDR, which is the main regulation, we have around 32 as of today that are appointed to be your notified bodies. But on those 32, they cannot all certify your product. So you have still to look at each of them if they are qualified for your products. There are some MDR codes that are existing. So you have to qualify first your product to say, my product is MDA 030310 or this kind of thing. And then go to see if the notified body is capable to certify your product. So it means 32 is the pool, but maybe at the end there is only 3 on the list that can help you there. So which is also a big problem. So 32 notified bodies, but before we had more. So now it's a struggle because everybody is looking for a notified body and nobody can find it. But let's look at now IVDR. IVDR is worst. IVDR is only 7 notified bodies. And you have to understand that the IVDR legislation, the in vitro diagnostic regulation for Europe, completely flipped the requirements. What does it mean? It means that before, 15% of in vitro diagnostic product needed a notified body. 15%, 1/5, needed a notified body, so that they have to go through a notified body and to get certified. All the rest were called self-certified. So it means that as long as they are fulfilling the requirements, they can go on the market. Now, with IVDR, it's changed completely. 15% of the IVDR products doesn't need a notified body. Mainly, it's laboratory elements that are used for in vitro diagnostic, this kind of thing, that are some material that are used, or some machines. But all the rest, need a notified body. And this is why here we have a chaos that can happen, because in vitro diagnostic, there is really those dates that changed, and that now we say, oh, if you are class D, you go until 2025, class C, etc., because of this situation where we don't have enough notified bodies. And this is mainly a situation that is happening to a lot of manufacturers. So we have some manufacturers that are contacting us to help them. And here is what happens. Mainly the notified bodies are saying, hey guys, here is the date of expiration of your certificate. Every certificate has been renewed by the 26th of May 2020 or 2021. And the last date of expiration is the 26th of May 2024. So all the certificates were renewed for expiration on the end of the transition period, which means that by 2024, the notified bodies have evaluated that there will be 13,104 certificates to renew, 655 for IVDR. But they are alerting us and they say, hey guys, I have capacity only for 6,300, nothing more. So if you come all by 2024 to get your certificate renewed, I'm not able to help you. I mean, maybe you will be on the list up. So it's why what's happening mainly is that the situation is the same as when you are going to make some party with your friends. You arrive at the door and the guy is telling you mainly, we accept only usual clients. So come back in 2 years. Why? Because if you are already a client of a notified body, you are kind of in the priority list for them. But imagine now all the startups that are coming, all the new products that you want to place on the market, all the innovative products that are arriving, all the products that are kind of new and want to bring the market because they are helping a lot. They cannot reach that requirements because notified body says, hey, I have already some clients that are waiting and that are paying and that are doing the job. I don't have a lot of auditors. I don't have a lot of people on my team, so I cannot serve everybody. So first, let's serve the one that are already our client. And then we can look at the other one. So you are staying there on the line, waiting. And this is exactly what's happening actually. So this should not be discouraging you. You have to already stay on the line. You have to stay on the line anyway, because as I've told you, you have 32 notified bodies. You can contact them all. Maybe you'll have one by chance that is saying, oh, I have a slot because somebody has canceled, so I can take you. But most likely you will wait 1 year before you get maybe the process started. And even when you get the process started, you will have also to wait for your audit to be happening. Then when the audit is done, you will have to wait that they are evaluating if the results is okay. Then you have to wait that your certificate is printed and sent to you. So it's not, don't think that the date of the audit is the end of your nightmare. No, the date of the audit is just the middle. Then the nightmare starts because you have to wait. So the idea here is to say, don't wait too much to contact a notified body. Even if you are starting your process, I have some customers where we are starting now the process of design and development. We are already defining the strategy when we should contact notified body, and we are not contacting notified body when everything is finished. So you have really to wait at a certain point of your project, and you can really define, okay, now let's contact notified body. Let's have a first meeting with them and discuss when we can have our first audit, and do that before your product is even finished, because you have to communicate with them. So adding to that, so it's already complex. So MDR is already complex situation, but adding to that, we have some other political situations that are happening. So before, Europe was one. So what does it mean? Europe was one, means all the countries were one and everybody can circulate from one to the other. So you needed for your medical devices only one authorized representative. It can be located in France, Germany, Switzerland, UK, whatever, wherever, Spain, whatever. As long as you have one authorized representative, you can sell your products in all the European Union. So there is no problem there. You had also one importer, the same. Your products is received by your importer at the first country, if your importer is in Spain, wherever. And then it can go to all the European Union through your importer. And you needed also one notified body. So you can go for a notified body in the UK, in Switzerland, or wherever they are. You needed only one notified body, and then you can sell in all the European Union. This was the good old time, if I can say, because now when you are looking at the different elements, we have, we have a situation where there were a lot of exits, if I can say. So first we had the Brexit, where UK is not anymore part of the European Union. And you have also what we call the Swixit, mainly because Switzerland, only for medical devices, is out of the scope of the European Union. You can still have agreements for other types of products, but for medical devices, there is no signature of agreement between Switzerland and the European Union, which is called the Mutual Recognition Agreement, which makes that Switzerland is not anymore part of the European Union for medical devices. So what does it mean for you? It means that you need 3 authorized representatives, one in Europe, one in Switzerland, and one in the UK. In the UK, they call it the responsible person, to just change the vocabulary, but it's exactly the same. And then if you want to, if you are, for example, a company located in the US and you want to deliver your products in Europe, before you needed only 1 authorized representative, now you need 3 if you are trying to reach those 3 regions. You need also 3 importers, 1 for Europe, 1 for Switzerland, and 1 for the UK. So it means that you have to have a company that is accepting to import your products. I mean, import doesn't mean that receive them, but approve those products to be sold on the market, because they will be checking each product one by one to check that they are good, it can enter the market. So they have a door of entry directly on the market. And you need 2 notified bodies. We are lucky for that, because you need a notified body for Europe and you need a notified body for UK. Switzerland said, oh, if you have a European notified body, it's fine. We are accepting that, it's okay. And Switzerland also made a lot of things similar to the European Union, which helps also a lot. So Switzerland is exiting the European Union, but they have copied a lot of things from the European Union so that there is no gap between what's happening in Europe and what's happening in Switzerland. The only gap, as I said, is the authorized representative that you need to appoint and the importer that you need to appoint to Switzerland. But for the rest, it's the same. And even if you go to the Swiss legislation, it says if you want to look for the responsibility of an authorized representative, go to the EU MDR chapter 11, etc. So this is mainly what they are mentioning there. But you have still to have those economic operators on your thing. So which increase also your budget, because as you have to appoint them, they have also to represent you, they have to register your products, they have to do all those things. So now don't be surprised, if there is an increase in terms of budget in Europe because of all this. Last thing is what I call simplification, but you will see that it's not simple. You go from on the MDD and AIMDD, which were merged to create the MDR. So MDD, so Medical Device Directive, AIMDD, Active Implantable Medical Device Directive. It's mainly for products like pacemakers or things that are implanted but active inside your body. You have 80 pages of documents. Now, if you go to the MDR, you have 175 pages, more than the double of what is the MDR. So what does it mean? It means that it's more complex. There are more requirements, or maybe some people are saying, oh, it's just more clarification, so it helps a lot. But I really doubt of that, because you can read the MDR 1 time, you still have not get all the essence of it. You can read it 10 times, maybe you start to understand. You can read it 20 times, and you discover still things that you never noticed the first time you read it. And this is mainly the issue of the MDR, is that sometimes you read it in one way, and some other people read it and say, no, it's on the other way. And you are here saying which way is the best, etc. So what's happening there is that they created what we call guidances. So we have the MDCG guidance. Before they were called MedDev. Now it's MDCG, because MDCG is a medical device group that is creating those guidances. And you have those guidances, you have a lot. You have guidances for borderline and classification, for class 1 devices, for clinical investigation, for COVID-19, because as we had the COVID-19, they were having also guidances to explain to you how to place those COVID-19 products on the market. Custom-made device, UDAMED, etc., EMDN, implant card, etc. You have multiple guidances. So you have already a 175 page of document that should be clearer than before. Now you have a ton of guidances to help you to understand what. And lastly, you have still a lot of guidances that are not written. They are read. So mainly the point is that you can find them on the group to say, here are the guidances that are still in progress of being created. So you see here that it's not really simple at all. And we can understand that we need guidances because as soon as you read the MDR, there are still some issues. And IVDR is the same. So MDR and IVDR, you can say that it's nearly a copy-paste. They are just changing few things in the IVDR, but at the end, it's really nearly a copy-paste of some elements there. Economic operators or elements are exactly the same. And here you need also some guidances to understand how this is working. And I'm not saying guidances are bad. I'm just saying that we thought that MDR will be clearer and guidance will not be needed. And sometimes there are some guidances that create more confusion than what was written on the MDR. So yeah, it's not an easy situation at all. Lastly, we have also an increase of the scope. What does it mean? Before, EU MDR or MDD were focusing on medical device product. So you needed a notified body for your medical device products. Now they added an annex, Annex 16, which is an annex for non-medical device products. So it means that even some non-medical device products are regulated by the medical device regulation. And you have also a new requirement, which is for importer and distributor of those medical devices. As soon as you are receiving the product, maybe you importer and distributor, you receive the products and you have to update the language of the packaging or the packaging itself or the instruction for use because of translation or repackaging or this kind of thing. You are not changing the device. You are not changing the intended purpose. You are not changing the content. You are just changing maybe the language, for example. You say, oh, here it's written in German, but at the end, it should be in French because we send it to France, etc. So you have to update that. If you do that, you also need a notified body. And I will explain that to you. Okay, for Annex 16 products, so what are those products that have no medical purpose? And all those products now need to follow the EU MDR. And I will show you some trick also. So first, contact lenses that are used to color your eyes or some eyeballs that are used as aesthetic. So it's aesthetic products need now to be considered as medical devices. Products that are used to be implanted on your body but have no medical purpose, just for aesthetic, to have a better shape or to have some skulls, if I can say, on your arm, if you want. So these are now considered as medical devices because they are no medical purpose, but they are implanted. They're like a real implant. If you are using some substances like hyaluronic acid, like things to put it on your skin to have a better skin, remove the wrinkles or this kind of thing, this is also considered now as a medical device, when before it was considered as an aesthetic product. And one thing that was excluded is all the tattoos that you are using. I don't know why, because for me, it's something that you are injecting also in your body. So we have to be sure that it's also fulfilling the requirements. But no, because I suppose the market would be too big, or there is maybe some issue that can happen, or maybe it will be included later. But for the moment, this is excluded from the list also. If you are using some machines in beauty centers also, not in surgery room or whatever, but in beauty centers like adipose tissue removal or to break those adipose tissue or whatever, that are using ultrasound, using radiography or this kind of thing, that are specifically not used for medical purpose but for aesthetic purpose, these are also considered now as medical devices. Also, if you go to beauty centers where you have to make a better sun tanning, or even the nails when you have those lights that are used, or if you want to try to remove a tattoo with some pulsed light, or hair removal also with some pulsed light, this is also considered as medical device. So those companies that are selling these products, actually, they are selling that without being a medical device. But if they are not aware, they have to be EU MDR soon. And the last one is some brain stimulation devices, as I said, not for medical purposes, just for maybe relaxation or this kind of thing. I have no clue if I can say what are the objectives, but if you are stimulating the brain through some waves or this kind of thing, then you have also to follow this regulation. And there is now implemented act, active device implemented act, that was created, and this one is mainly showing that some products will be classified as class 2B or class 2A, 2B or class 3. And the issue, or why they created this the implementing act, is because if you read specifically the EU MDR, it says that you have to classify those products if they are treating, if they are diagnosing, if they are monitoring. But the problem is that those devices are not doing anything of those. So they are not treating, diagnosing, or monitoring. Treating means that we have a disease and we treat that disease. So here, normally, if we are looking clearly at the EU MDR, it says that those devices are class 1 under the rule 13 of the EU MDR. But yeah, those devices now have been reclassified because they are really dangerous for some elements of on the body, and this is why they have created this implementing act for that. But the question is, should they follow the EU MDR today? No, they have to wait that the draft common specification is published. The common specification that is showing that which are the rules to follow for those products. And this is not published for now. And as soon as this is published, then you have 6 months to apply the EU MDR. So it means that even when it is published, then you have to contact a notified body, you have to get audited, you have to get certified, etc. for that. 6 months is not enough for that. So it means that you have to start now to see how you can contact a notified body and try to already start to create all your documentation now. Because if you are waiting for the common specification to be published, in 6 months, you will not be able to reach the market with your product at all. So you'll have to stop selling your products in the European Union. What's about the distributors and importers? As I've told you, if you are a manufacturer, 1, 2, or 3 distributing products through an importer or distributor in Europe, and then selling that to your customers, as soon as you are doing repackaging or translation, then you need a notified body. But if your notified body number 1 is not able to manage, as I've told you before, all the products that you are distributing, then you need a notified body number 2. And if the notified body number 2 is not capable to manage all the products that you are distributing, that you need notified body number 3, etc., etc. So the point is that the importer and distributor will also need a notified body to get certified for your products. So my advice, don't use your importer or distributor to translate or repackage your products. Do it yourself because you have already a notified body for that. Then it will save you time, it will save time for everybody, because the importer cannot distribute your products until they get the certificate from notified body. So it can be really a big problem for them, but also for you because you cannot distribute the product. So do that. And when they will be certified and everything and they are trying to sell to the customers, they have 28 days to send you the translation or the repackaging documentation to the manufacturer directly. So what about legacy devices? So the problem with legacy devices is that everybody thinks that, oh, because my product was sold since 20 years, 30 years, then everything is fine, I can still continue to sell my products on the market. No, not at all. Think that all the past is the past and all what is important is the future. The past, you can try to use it, but it's not sure that it will be accepted by any notified body. So don't need to say, oh, it's sold since 20 years. No, the idea is not it's sold since 20 years. The idea is show me that since 20 years, you collected clinical data to show that everything is fine with your product. Here is what you have to do, not to say, oh, I'm selling that since 20 years. So what's the rule mainly? The rule is that for class 1, class 2A, and class 2B, clinical evaluation only is accepted. But if you don't have enough data on your clinical evaluation, then you need a clinical investigation. But for class 3, it's another rule. For class 3, clinical evaluation and clinical investigation is only accepted. What does it mean? It means that if you are a class 3 device or an implantable device, you have to have also some clinical investigation for your products, or you have to show that you are comparing your products to another products and you have the agreement to use the data from the other products, which is completely a deal breaker because nobody or none of your competitors will give you the data and say, oh, yes, it's fine, I can make an agreement with you so that you can sell more products because I'm providing you my data. Nobody will do that. But this is the rules now. So the point now of the equivalent devices, because you can still use equivalent devices to show that your product is good because it's equivalent to another product on the market, and you are using the clinical data from the other products to be saved then. So in that case, here are all the requirements that you have to fulfill to prove equivalency for your devices. So technically that your device is similar in design to the other one, under the similar condition, similar specifications, same software algorithm if it's a software, similar deployment method, similar principle of operation. So there are a lot of similarities to follow here. Same for biological, same material of substance, contact with the same human tissue, similar kind of duration contact, similar release characteristic of substances. So there is a lot you have to prove there. So you have to make a table to show all those similarities. This table is available within the MDCG 2020-5. So you have to look at this MDCG that is providing you all those information. And clinically also, that clinically the product is similar, that you are using it for the same disease, the same use, the same stage of the disease also, the same condition, that one it can be used in maybe a surgical room and the other can be used outside, so it's not the same conditions also. You have to show all that to the notified body so that they can accept. I have a lot of notified body that refuse those equivalency because they see that it's not really equivalent. So you have to be careful when you are doing equivalency, because this is a lot of rejection are coming from these elements here. So if you can not use equivalency for your device, it's the best. Use your own data, it will be the best, no contradiction from a notified body then. So my conclusion to this is, like, as I've said, don't stop now. I mean, I hope the presentation was not like, oh, I will not go to the EU market. No, the presentation was to say it will be really difficult to go to the market, but more difficult it is, better it is for the ones that are going through it and finding maybe their final way to it. So don't stop, go for it. If you need any help anywhere, we can help you for that, but you have to go, and you have already to contact notified body. You have to move to that. You have to do something. So don't stop and say, oh, maybe it will change, because we had a lot of companies that says, oh, they will change that. It's impossible for them to make those rules happen because nobody then will be placing the device on the market. So this is mainly the situation here. So if you need help, we can be here to help you. So Easy Medical Device is a consulting and coaching company. We can also provide training. We have also an EQMS software, so S-Cube, that SmartEye, that is helping you. And we are also authorized representative and importer for Europe, Switzerland, and the UK. So don't hesitate to contact us if needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Munir. It was very informative and well formulated. I'm sure we're going to get lots of questions flowing in a minute. So we will now invite up Dr. Noah.
Yes, hi, Madri.
Hi, Dr. Noah. I will just introduce you. Please give a minute. So Dr. Noah is the General Director of Administration of Medical Device Registration from the Egyptian Drug Authority. And we'd really like to welcome her from PRA and HAPLA's point of view. She has a Bachelor's of Clinical Pharmacy since 2003. And she had an excellent grade with honors. She has an MBA in Health Economics. And she's also worked in the Administration of Pharmaceutical Affairs since 2004 as an inspector. Dr. Noah, you have the floor.
Okay. Hi, Madri. Thanks for this is a great introduction. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be with you in this great event and to present my country, Egypt, to highlight the most important topics regarding the MDR updates and how the Egyptian Drug Authority is dealing with it. Let's start sharing our presentation. Clear sharing?
All good?
Okay. My objective is to gain knowledge about our new regulation and to know the most important step in EDA, which is digital transformation, and the timeline for MDR, and the cooperation with GS1 to get our new UDI. Here we can see the MDR timelines, which is already published, and I guess all of you know it, which has been started in 2017, and it was delayed, as Munir said, due to the COVID in 2020. We are aligned to the timeline of the MDR in Egypt. We are not expecting to force anybody to have its MDR certificates before the due dates. So stay tuned to the MDR timeline. Changes according to the MDR updates. We were glad that we published our notification letter from EDA in 19/8/2021, which contained the most updates on the labeling and classification and intended use, or IFU updates. And we published this notification letter in order to be known for everybody what changes that are going to be considered as significant or non-significant, and what pathway to take. Is it new registration or variation? So we are going to have a quick look about how we deal with every problem. First, if you have significant change regarding your IFU, like addition of information or clarification into the instruction for use, like more clarification in the intended use or contraindication, or explanation of symbol added to your labels or IFU, what can you do? Every case is evaluated separately, case by case. If it's significant change, so it will be a new registration process, and if it's non-significant change, it will be approved from the variation department. This case is evaluated from either the scientific committee or from contacting the issuing agency of the certificates, either it's the notified body or the FDA. If you have update in the intended use, so it can be minor update or a major update. If you have minor updates in the intended use, like rephrasing of the intended use, but not changing your scope of the intended use, or addition of a new wording that can be appear in the IFU within the same scope, so it will be also evaluated case by case from the scientific committee, or contact the certificate issuance agency. If it's only rephrasing, so it will be considered as a minor artwork, and if it's significant change, it will be major artwork. Take care that it's considered minor or major artwork update, not new registration process. If you have a change that is affecting the whole portfolio, so you can submit them as a case for the whole portfolio. You don't have to submit a separate file for each of them. If you have a change in the design or the intended purpose, so this is evaluated from the scientific committee also, and from the notified body or the issuing agency. If it's significant, it will be new registration. If it's non-significant, it will be approved from the variation. And as you can see, everybody who had previous experience with EDA, we refused to accept any change in the design or the classification or the intended use all over the past years, as they are considered from day one as a new process. But regarding to the updates taking place due to the MDR, so we are evaluating every case by case regarding the change in the intended use, classification, and design. Here, classification change. As I have just said, classification we use to refuse a change in the classification and consider it as a new registration. But now we have divided it into some cases. For the already registered product, if my product is already registered and according to the MDR, it has been up classified or down classified, but most cases it's up classified, as the new directive is making some more restrictions. So all the cases that I had seen was upper classification. So we contact the notified body. If the reply of the notified body that the classification is non-significant and it's only according to the MDR requirements, and the product has not any change in the indication of use or the design and whatever, so it will be considered as a variation case, and you will have your approval after following up with the vigilance department to make sure that you do not have any recall or FSCN or whatever. And if it's significant change, considering your product has a great change that cause it to be upper classified, so it will be considered as new registration process, but you will have a new year for importation. So it will not be as the new ordinary registration process that you cannot go to the market without fulfilling all the registration requirements, but you will have 1 year gap for importation. For the products that were not considered as medical devices according to the old directive and are now considered as medical devices according to the MDR, so you have to apply for new registration process, but you will also have 1 year for importation. Minimum labeling requirements. I am so proud that Egypt was from the leader countries to announce our letter for minimum labeling requirements and how to deal with labeling changes according to the MDR. First, we have some data concerning the medical devices that should be present on the labels before going to the market. For the medical device to be in the market, you must have its trade name. You must have your reference if available. If you don't have reference, so it's okay, no problem. Batch or serial number, any special handling or precaution. So regarding our medical device, these are mandatory signs that must be present in our medical device. You must mention your storage condition, and that it's not to be reused again, and the UDI and the expiry date for your product. Second, data concerning the manufacturer. You must mention your legal manufacturer name and your legal manufacturer address and your country of origin. Third, data concerning sterile products. If your product is sterile, so you must mention that this product is sterile and mention the way of sterilization with its sample, of course. Data concerning applicant or importer, you must mention the name of the applicant and mention the address of the applicant. Here are some revised symbols from the new MDR that you have to apply on your product, like the patient number, manufacturer, do not re-sterilize, European representative, caution, and as you can see, these are some demo. And these are some, I tried to pick up some new labels requirements from the MDR. This is, for example, the number of packaging, if it's primary or secondary or tertiary. So you have to add also this in your products. Out from the MDR, we have some updates in the Egyptian registration administration. As you all know, the validity of the registration license in Egypt for the medical device is 10 years. So to be sure that the product is continued in the market without any delay, we made a new regulation that the applicant shall submit the appeal for re-registration during the first trimester of the last year of the validity. So if you didn't apply in the first trimester, you will have some obstacle to be considered as re-registration. So please, if you want to be considered as re-registration without any delay in the market, so please try to submit your file in the first trimester of the last year validity of the 10 years of the registration license. Regarding our digital transformation, as we all know that the whole world is now using the many different forms of the platform. So we have now our MedDevReg platform, which is our platform for submission and importation approvals for the medical devices. We are now wholly automated regarding the registration and importation. And soon, inshallah, the variation department also will be on the platform. Here is a link if you want to submit any file. And we receive your acceptance number after fulfilling all the requirements within 20 days from the submission. This is for the normal track, and 7 days for the fast track. After having our new platform, we were so proud that we do not have now any queue lines for registration, but applicants that used to deal with us, I'm sure they know that they had to wait about a year and a half for just having an appointment for submission their file. This is before automation, but now you can submit your file 24/7, and you can follow up with the pharmacist on a daily basis. About UDI, we had, as EDA, we had a collaboration with GS1 company. I hope this will be helpful in the platform, because most of the world are dealing with GS1 and having their JETN. So once you add your JETN into the platform, all your data will be retrieved on our platform, so you will not have to add it manually, and it will be imported automatically. This also will help us to track the product in the market. So starting from the 1st of October 2022, all the applicants should have their JETN in order to be able to apply to the platform. The benefits of the UDI is that it improves the patient safety and facilitates the tracking of the device, and it's more accurate for understanding of our device risk. So when you scan your product, you can know all about it, where it's manufactured, the expiry date, the name of the manufacturer, all data about the product. So it will be very helpful for the customer and for the authorities to be using the UDI. Entry into the force according to Article 27 from the directive. So by 26 May 2025, UDI on the label devices for Class 1 and Class 2A, Class 2B, it will be 26 May 2023, and Class 3 by 26 of May 2021. About reusable devices, it's later. Class 1 it will be 2027, and Class 2A and Class 2B 2025. Class 3 it will be 2023. So as I said before, we are aligned with the timelines published in the MDR. We had a great event last July that we are approving now the registration of the local products, only local, manufactured in Egypt, that are not having CE from notified body. Sorry. This is to resolve the problem of delaying of the notified bodies during shifting from the MDD to MDR, and to full control of the market on those start to have their CE approval. So this was a step for encouraging investment in Egypt. If you have a problem for having a CE during this delay, so we are now having our own team for a technical file review, as we are the notified body. And we revise all the biocompatibility, validity, risk assessment, and all of this to be sure that the product have done all the needed documentation and to ensure the safety and efficacy of the product. Thanks, that all was for my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you don't hesitate to ask me any question.
Hello. يعطيك العافية. Thank you very much for a good session. It was pleasure having you on board. I just want to check if we have any questions. Production team, do you have any questions from the audience for Dr. Nuha? Yes. The first question says the change of the first question, if the change is approved by the confirmatory assessment body CAB, CE mark product, is there any abridged process to be variation of the medical devices?
No, this change is accepted from the notified body, so it will be accepted as a variation case.
Yes. Are we going to have Dr. Munir as well on board with us on the same panel, Madre?
I'm here.
Yes. Hi, Munir. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Great. So the second question is from Sudhir. Is the intended of using an alignment of GMDN description details, would this align for harmonization?
It's for me for Egypt or for Munir?
Yes.
You are talking about the alignment with the MDR. You
Yes.
are not. Yes, we are aligned according to the full details regarding the UDI. But what we are talking about that will be mandatory starting from the 1st of October 2022 is just having your JETN to upload it on the platform.
Okay. I think this question is for Munir. Do we require are the IVDs should be submitted via me device or on a physical submission? Dr. Nuha, I think this is for you.
Yes, I think they are asking about having access.
Is it an online portal? Yes.
It's an online, but up till now it's only for Egypt region. Later on, we will have it to be all over the world. You can submit your file from anywhere, but still now we don't have access to be outside Egypt.
Okay. Salma is asking, is the IUD required for a spare part for a medical equipment? If yes, how can the importer do the spare part registration in Europe and USA?
So the UDI is not needed for spare parts. Mainly what is needed, the UDI is needed only for the medical device itself, or the product itself that will be sold at the end for the user. The objective of the UDI is to have the traceability if there is any issue about the product, the medical device, not a screw or not a small element that is on the product. So it's the complete product. And the UDI is provided by the manufacturer. So the importer cannot get it, or anybody else cannot get it. It's the manufacturer that should define the UDI for their product. So you cannot expect the importer, when you receive the product, that there has no UDI to create one. It's not how it is working.
And it is not for a spare part. I think it's for a hub or a full medical device, right?
Exactly. It's for a full medical device that you have to have the UDI part, or for sub-components that are accessories, for example, that you need a UDI, or for non-medical device, as I've showed for Annex 16. But spare parts like a filter or whatever is not considered as a medical device, so it doesn't need to have a specific UDI.
Okay. Another question says, also for Munir, Class 1 devices need to be registered or no?
Class 1 devices need to be registered, yes, but it's a self-declaration. So you have to go to each country or to the country where you, I mean, for example, if you are located outside of Europe, you have to go to the country where is located your authorized representative. For example, Easy Medical Device is located in Belgium for Europe. Then it's the Belgium authorities that will review this device. Then we have to notify them. But now you are using UDAMED directly. So you go to the UDAMED database, you register your company, and then there is now a module to register your device. And as soon as you register your device, then the health authority that is in charge of your device will be coming and approving this device to be placed on the UDAMED. And this is
so
how
it's
a
kind of approving listing, not really registration.
No, it is registration. It is called, it's notification. We don't call it registration. We call it notification, because as soon as you are following the EU MDR and you are making a self-declaration, so it means that you have your technical file, you have your quality management system, you have done everything that is written on the EU MDR. Then you can issue a declaration of conformity, and with that you can notify the countries to say, I will be selling my device in your country. So it's not really a registration, but anyway, the country can still look at your information and say, oh, I need also this, I need also that. We had the case once for Germany where a customer asked us to register a device to notify the German authorities. And then the German authorities asked us, can you send me the clinical evaluation report of this device? And this was kind of also a surprise for us for a class 1 device to get this question.
Hello, Salma. The
Just
same question.
Salma back up.
Sure.
Sorry, Dr. Mona, we just invited Salma. She's got quite a lot of questions. And as we didn't have a moderator, we thought maybe you could ask in and just be part of the discussion.
Please,
just
please
feel
free.
Salma. Okay.
I just want to have the same question. If class 1 devices need to be registered in Egypt, and then Salma can take over.
Okay. Class 1s, if it's trial, so it will be registered. If it's non-sterile, so it will be self-declaring, or it's according to the request of the applicant. If it needs, if he needs to register, so it's okay. If no, no one can stop him.
Sure. Salma, do you want to go ahead with the first question? I can see a lot of
please.
questions.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the great presentation to both of you, Munir and Dr. Nuha, and it's a pleasure to meeting you. So my first question is to Dr. Mona for ADA. So you said that for some specific changes about MDR, you might send an email to notify the body in order to get the information. I just wanted to know if you're getting the feedback quickly for notify the bodies, and also knowing now with the transition to MDR, sometimes there might be some delays to get the feedback from notify the bodies. How this is basically handled by ADA?
First, as I said, our regulations was that we don't accept the changes in classification or intended use and whatever, but for supporting the transition period and the changing from the MDD for the MDR, so we made this flexibility to accept these cases. But we have two choices, either reply from the notified body or accepting the case from the scientific committee. So as I said in my presentation, we have two pathways. Either evaluation from the scientific committee, if it's okay and the doctors can approve that they are the same product with no change, so it will be accepted, or in some cases we just need a confirmation from the notified body, either by email, or the notified body can issue a letter, which is easier for them to answer our emails and questions. So I guess this pathway is acceptable, and it's applicable for all the manufacturer to contact the notified body and issue this letter. This don't take any time. The issue, I guess, is that the manufacturers have to contact the notified body to pay their fees.
Okay, thank you so much. And I still have another question. I'm so sorry, Dr. Nuha, I have so many questions for you. Also for the Me device, actually I've tried several times to log in, but maybe because I'm not based in Egypt, I have some trouble to connect on. So just wanted to make sure if there are any projects to open the platform for people who are based abroad, or this is specifically for people based in Egypt?
No. It will be the second phase. As I said, we are now online for registration registration and importation, and we are still working on other phases like a variation for registration and importation. Once we are our project is fully developed in Egypt, we will be working on the phase number 2 that it will be published all over the world.
Okay, that's great. And then my last question, and promise I'm going to stop here. So I heard from Munir, who confirmed that spare parts does not require UDA. So just wanted to make sure then that Egypt is aligned with the European regulation and that spare parts won't require UDI as well.
We are aligned also with this, and we don't have EDI for the spare parts.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Salma. So, Dr. Noha, there is another question. Do we need to do classification for the product as a medical device before going into registration? Or the criteria that is mentioned in the guidelines with the classification, we can just go with that clarification?
So you need to reclassification or what?
No. Is there a process in the EDA for a classification, or each company will just check the guidelines and accordingly will submit their files? In some countries, they start with a classification process. For example, if the classification, let's say 2A, and then you still need to do a classification process and get a declaration letter from EDA stating, yes?
No, we don't classify the products according to our regulations. The products are classified according to the directive. And
to the country of origin.
Yes, to the country of origin and to the directive. So the manufacturer issue its declaration mentioning the classification of his product and the rule of this classification, and we check this classification regarding the directive. If you have any concern about this classification, we contact the notified body and contact the manufacturer and check the rule for classification, but it's published in the directive.
Tamam. The general IVD self-certified should be submitted to register before the end of the year, or still it's not in that phase?
We will make announcement about it. I know IVD is making a good trouble for all the world.
Still no new announcement. Yeah. But is it a near future? Let's give them a hint. Is it a near future?
Yes.
Okay. I believe we are done with our question and answer. Do you want to add anything, Mr. Munir, on the same?
No, I mean, I see that when I hear also Dr. Nora, I see that there is really a lot of kind of alignment between Egypt and Europe, that the laws are nearly the same. So, which is also an advantage, because then if you are qualified for Europe, you can go to Egypt quicker. So it's really something that is great, that we see this kind of thing. Yeah, as you say, also there are also other countries that have completely different rules, which makes then the process really longer. So it's a chance for companies that are already following the Egyptian rules, or any rules can go also to quicker to the European Union.
This is the beginning of the harmonization, actually, that everyone is calling with.
It was for our plan to be part of the world and not to be away due to globalization, and we need investment in Egypt. So we don't need to have special requirements for Egypt, and we have to be matching with all the world.
Thank you. It's a huge project and hard work. The last question that we have just received just now, is the GS1 a part of your UDI or no?
So UDI, so for UDI, UDI is a code. So it's a code that is reserved. You can get it from 4 companies actually, and GS1 is one of them. So GS1 is the first company worldwide that is providing you GS1. You can also go to HIBCC. You can also go to ICCBBA. And you can go to IFA. So there are 4 companies that are.
GS1 is a provider, you mean, right?
Exactly. It's a provider. It's a provider of what we call the company prefix. So it's a code that you are receiving. You are paying to get this code, and this is your code. So anywhere in the world, anybody using this code, it's your company. And then with this company prefix, you can create your UDI. With GS1, it's called GTIN, GTIN. And you have also in Europe to create another code, which is called the basic UDI-DI. And So then you have those 2 codes for your products. But yes, GS1 is just the provider, and you pay just once because you pay just for the company prefix. And with the company prefix, you can get all the codes that you need for all your products.
Sure. Yes, Dr. Nuha, anything you want to add on the same point?
No, I just want to thank you and thank Madri and Dr. Munir and Dr. Shaima.
Everyone.
Again with you already. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.